Hello everybody, I hope you're doing well. The purpose of this video is to provide you some clarity and instruction on the budget project. Um, so you should have access to this budget project template. If you don't, please reach out to your teacher, but you should have access to this spreadsheet. Okay. Um, so once you open the spreadsheet, you should be looking at the same screen that I'm looking at right here. And one of the things you might notice at first is there are a bunch of different tabs at the bottom of your screen. So right now, your budget is highlighted. Right next to it is budget example. So if I click here, this is an example of what we might be looking for as a finished product or part of a finished product. Okay, so we'll get into the other tabs here in a minute. But if we go back to your budget, you'll notice that everything is obviously blank because you haven't done anything yet. Okay, so one of the first things that you need to do is you need to figure out, what is your income level, okay? And you're basically going to be using the Pennsylvania Career Guide as a guide, as a way to figure out, okay, how much am I going to be making realistically out of high school or out of college in the career field of your choice, okay? Um, so let's just say, for our example, that your monthly gross income, remember, gross income is your income before taxes, okay? So let's just say, for our example, that you're making $3,000 a month, okay, gross. And what we've done in this spreadsheet is we've actually done the calculations for you to get your net income from your gross income. So this number right here, okay, is basically equal to this number minus these numbers, okay? So if you're making $3,000 a year gross, that's before any taxes. They say there's nothing certain in life except for death and taxes. So you're going to have to pay taxes one way or another. And we've set your federal tax rate to 22%. Okay, so that if you're making $3,000 a month, your federal tax is going to be about $660 a month. Your Pennsylvania income tax is going to be 9210. Your Social Security is going to be 90. And we've estimated health insurance at 5%. Now, obviously, this number could go up, it could go down. Health insurance is a pretty expensive commodity, unfortunately, nowadays. So, realistically, you're probably going to be paying more than that. But we just set it at 5% just to make things a little bit easier here for the project. So, um, this you'll notice. So if I just go back to zero here, everything goes to zero. Now you might have noticed in the expenses category, everything stayed the same except for this line right here. 3% into savings, pay yourself first. Okay, so one good habit I should say is to set aside a little bit of money. In this case, we use 3% and put it into a savings account. Okay, regardless if your paycheck is $100 or if it's $1,000 or if it's $10,000, put 3% of that into savings. Okay, so if we go back and I type in 3,000 here, all the calculations come back up. 3,000 gross, that would equal about 2,000 net. That's your income after taxes. Okay, and 3%, okay, of 3,000 would be $60.24. So throw $60 into a savings account just to make sure that you are getting ahead a little bit with each and every paycheck, each and every month. Okay. Now what you're going to do is you'll notice what we have here are mostly necessities. Okay, these are needs. These are not wants. You need a roof over your head. You need, to pay for housing or rent. A lot of millennials, more millennials than any other generation are living at home with their parents. Housing is expensive, rent is expensive, but eventually one day you are going to get out on your own. And actually, you guys aren't millennials; that's my generation. Um, but regardless, housing and rent can be expensive, but there are also ways that you can find to live that aren't as expensive, or you can make it work. Find a roommate, find two roommates, that sort of thing. So your housing and your rent is going to be obviously a necessity. Okay, now if we look down here at the bottom tabs, I have a tab that says housing ads. So if you click there, okay, you're just going to see it says copy and paste the URL to your housing advertisement here. Okay, now you could go to, there's a number of resources that you can go to. You can just simply Google, you know, apartments for rent. Okay, and there's a million websites here. There's apartments, there's apartment guide, Trulia, rent.com. I'm sure you can go to Craigslist, right? Craigslist will have roommate advertisements, roommate wanted, that sort of thing. I don't really care where you get it as long as it's real. Okay, and what I'd like you to do is copy and paste the URL, which is this right here. It's the www.whatever.com. So find a housing or a rent advertisement, okay, and then copy and paste the URL in here, or even easier, just copy this. Say let's say www.rent.com slash blah 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 blah. Okay, and then it'll go in there. So in other words, this is going to give you evidence. It's going to give you evidence. I'm going to be able to see that hey, this student actually went and looked up an apartment for rent, and that it actually really does exist. Oops, get rid of that. Here we go. And so I'll replace that. Okay. It's linked for some reason. Shouldn't be. Sorry. All right, well, whatever. I can go back and fix that. That's not a big deal. So in any case, whatever the advertisement say, let's say you find an ad for $400 a month rent. Somebody is looking for a roommate. They're offering you a room in their house, $400. Okay, so that's going to be your housing and rent payment for the month. Okay, now if you noticed, your monthly expenses went up. Your surplus, which is the money that you have left over, went down. So if I type in 400, my expenses went up by 400, my surplus went down by 400. The whole purpose of setting a budget is so that you have somewhat of a surplus at the end of the month, so that you are living within your means. Okay, that you can cover all of your bills. And if you can't cover all of your bills, that's a problem. Okay, this is a skill that, in my eyes, it's a life skill. Every person should know how to do this, and unfortunately, not everybody is taught. But if you want to succeed, if you want to get ahead in life, you need to figure out how to get to this surplus. And a lot of people, when they're in their late teens, in their 20s and their 30s even, before you're getting to a job that might, pay you 50, 60, 70,000 or more dollars a year, people are working 2 jobs, they're working 3 jobs to get this number up, which gets this number up, right? So if I just change it real quick to 3,500 here, maybe you get a second job, you make a couple, work 2 or 3 weekends a month, and you get an extra $500. Okay, that's going to change things, right? So you need to make sure that your surplus is above your monthly expenses. Okay, so the same thing is going to go for your your utilities, your water, your electric, your gas. This is something that, honestly, it kind of is different for everybody. If you want to just simply ask your parents, or ask whoever you live with, what is the average water bill per month here? What's our average electric bill or gas bill? Okay, some people have gas heat, some people have oil heat. Um, I'm fine with an estimation here. That's totally okay. Food. Okay, so we have our grocery list here. What I'm looking for is a grocery list of at least 15 items. Okay, so wherever you shop, whether it's Acme or Giant, you can Google Acme or Giant food stores, wherever. ShopRite. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I want you to create a list of 15 items, okay? And then you should give me an evidence of the price. So same thing what you did here with housing where you copy and pasted the URL. I'd like you to copy and paste the URL. Let's say, you want apples. Okay, so you're going to type in apples. Maybe you get, I don't know, 2 pounds, right? 2 pounds of apples. Okay. And then what is the price of that? Okay, so all you have to do, let's say it's like $3. So you can just type in three. It's automatically set to, you know, come into a dollar sign. So if I get rid of that, all you have to do is just type in a number, and then boom, it automatically goes to the dollar amount. Okay. And then the evidence of that price. Is it really $5? Okay, so you're gonna have to copy and paste the URL. You're gonna have to find apples on Giant's website, on ShopRite's website, on Acme's website, wherever you shop. You're gonna have to find me evidence that 2 pounds of apples equals $5. Okay, and then your total grocery bill. This will change automatically. You don't have to manually add up all these numbers. So just for example, 3, 6, 13, 14, excuse me, 35. Let's say you want some steak. Okay. Your total grocery bill is going to be added automatically. So when you get at least 15 grocery items, and this might take you, an hour or so. This budget project, you're going to have to, use your time wisely. It's going to be very, very difficult for you to throw everything together at the very, very end. So I want at least 15 items, okay, the prices, and then the evidence. You need to give me evidence of those prices for full credit, okay? And then whatever your total grocery bill is, you're going to come back to your budget and then fill that in, okay? Clothing. That can be, an estimation. Everybody's different. I, at this point in my life, probably don't spend a whole lot on clothing per month. But every now and then, I need new shirts or I need new pants. So, I might average it out to be maybe $50 a month or something like that. Okay. I don't need evidence for clothing necessarily. Personal hygiene, same thing. That would be like haircuts, you know, not, you don't even have to include like toothbrush and toothpaste, that kind of stuff you could throw in your food bill. But like dentist visits. So let's say, you go to the dentist every 6 months and it's $100 each time you go to the dentist. Okay. Well, what's 100 divided by 6, and then put that, number in there, or at least include it in your personal hygiene estimation. Okay. Transportation. And you know what? I'm going to get rid of car loan here. So it's not going to say, not going to say car loan. So any type of transportation. I do have a tab down here for transportation. Okay. So your mode of transportation. Are you planning on, purchasing a car or leasing a car? Okay. You can do that. Or, maybe you take, maybe you're going to take the bus. What I want you to think about is, what is your career? What's your career that you chose? Where are you living? Okay. And what is it going to cost you to get there? Now, some of you might find rent for a place in the city, and you might be working in the city. Okay. So it is possible, if you live like 5 blocks from your work, you could just say, hey, you know what? I'm walking, and walking is free for now. Okay. However, you still want to be realistic. You're probably going to be taking Ubers from place to place. or you may purchase a bike. Okay. So notice I don't have any specific number of, you don't need 5 items here or 10 items or 15 items like you did in the grocery list. All right, but just I'm asking that you be realistic here in terms of your transportation costs. If you find rent for a place that's out in the suburbs, but you work in the city, you're definitely going to need, at least a bus pass, or, maybe even leasing a car. And then if you do a car, it's the lease payment, it's oil changes, it's maintenance, and you just got to be honest with yourself in those costs. Okay, so again, your total transportation costs will, um, not 1,000 but 100, let's say, per month. Let's say you're getting an oil change every 3 months. Oil change is about $30, so 10 bucks a month, right? um, and let's say your total transportation costs come to $110 a month or something like that. You just put that number 110 back here under transportation. Okay. um, if I have gas as a subcategory here, if you want to put gas, you can. If you're walking or whatever, if you're taking Ubers or taking a bus, obviously you can leave that blank. Car insurance, depending on if you have a car or not, that's another expense, right? Um, so I will say, if you are doing a car, if you're buying or leasing a car, that would be definitely an expense that you would need to list here. Okay. And there's a lot of ways that you can figure out um, car insurance quotes. Okay, and there's Allstate, there's Esurance, Liberty Mutual, Geico. They'll all give you, free quotes if you just plug in some basic information. Okay, um, so again, just try to be the whole point of this is, guys and girls, is to be as accurate as possible. This is for you. It's not for me. I mean, I have a budget. My wife and I, we pretty much stick to ours. We make sure that we live within our means. We make sure that we have more income coming in than our expenses, because we want to get ahead in life, and I think everybody wants that, but just sometimes people don't know how, or they haven't been taught. Okay, and finally, the last tab here where I'm asking you to show evidence of prices would be communication. Okay, so cell phone, internet, cable. Okay, can you live without these things? You can. You 100% can. But let's be honest. How many of you don't have a cell phone? My guess is not many. Okay. How many of you are not going to need the internet at your house? My guess is not many. Okay. So can you live without these things? Yes, you can. Absolutely. But again, we want to be as realistic as possible. So, you know, price, let's say, I need the internet because, sometimes I have to work from home. Okay. And the price, well, what's the price of internet? Well, there's couple different suppliers, but we got Verizon, we have Comcast. I think even AT&T is in the area offering high speed internet. I'm probably missing some, so I don't care who you get internet from, but find a price per month and give me evidence of that price. All right. And that is it in terms of the tabs down here. Okay, so once you've shown me examples, or excuse me, evidence of your prices for these things, if you would like to add, okay, if you would like to add expenses, okay, let's say that I'll just in our budget example here. So I'm gonna zero these out here for you. So everything should be zeroed out. Good. Now, this is an example. I put in recreation weekend activities down there. Let's just say, so in this example, we have 71. I'm just going to change this to $100 real quick, just to show you. So our surplus bounces back up. Okay. Investments, and I highly recommend this. Okay, I highly recommend. Even if it's $25 or $50 a month, putting that money into a Roth IRA. I'm a big proponent of a Roth IRA as an investment vehicle. And what I mean by vehicle is it's just, what is a vehicle? A vehicle is a thing to get you from point A to point B. It's basically, how are you getting somewhere? So an investment vehicle, let's say you want to retire by age 50. Okay. Well, your investment vehicle is either going to get you there or it's not going to get you there, and it depends on how much money are you putting into it every month, and how well are your investments performing. So in any case, you can do some research on different investment vehicles. A lot of companies offer 401ks. Okay, I'm not going to get into the difference between Roth IRAs and 403bs and 401ks in this video, but just the basic idea here is, if you can put $100 a month away into an investment vehicle of some sort, you are going to be able to retire years before you'd be able to retire, by hitting 65 or 66 or 67 or whatever age it is, when we get older, where you start being able to collect Social Security, and not having to work as much or not having to work at all. So you're kind of the captain of your own ship, so to speak, in terms of investments, okay, and getting to where you want to be later in life. And that's something that we're going to talk about a little bit later. Okay, so I'll kind of keep that there in the example, and I'll actually add investments here. And I'm not going to make this investments is not going to be mandatory, but I highly, highly, highly suggest, even if it's a small amount of money, it pays dividends literally later on in life. So if you have any questions, if I talk too quickly, if you weren't, if you were not understanding something that I was talking about in this video, please reach out to me. Please send me an email. Please send me a message on Schoology. Be happy to help you out. If you think that some of these numbers need to be adjusted, or you can't, figure out, Mr. Colley, I really can't find a website to find housing, affordable housing, let me know. I'd rather you contact me. If you are really having trouble, contact me. I do not want you to be frustrated and shut down on this. Okay, the point here is to help you get used to the quote unquote real world, hashtag adulting and all that stuff. So please don't shut down in frustration. Just send me a message and we'll work through it together. All right, guys and girls, thank you for your attention, and I hope you have a great day, and I hope you have some fun with this project. Take care.